Okay, so hi everyone, Senan this side, and today we are going to continue with our Python. This is lecture number 3. I know the file name is wrong, but I thought that I would be doing some coding in the last video, but what I did was a whiteboard lecture. So, okay, we will start by what we discussed in the previous lecture, and in this we'll do some actually declare some variables and assign some values and see the data types. So some basic things. So let's say the variable name x is equal to 100. And what I do is, let's say, print this x. So just whatever you want to print to the console or the terminal, what you do is write this print and place inside what you actually want to store in that, right? So if I run this, I okay, so first of all I need to save this. So yeah, so 100. Okay, now let's say I say y is equal to underquotes 100, and I say rather than print x you should print y. Now if I run this again, you are seeing the same thing. So for a user's point of view, from the point of view of the user, you see 100, you see 100, but as a programmer you should know this 100 is an integer and this 100 is actually a string. It's a series of characters. It is not storing the value of the number 100. Fine, although you cannot see the type by just seeing the characters on the console, but as a programmer you should understand what you are trying to do. Let's say my name. So variable names should be as descriptive as possible. So name can be, let's say, is always under quotes, so Senan, that's my name. At the same time, what you can do is also use single quotes, but if I save this, so since I have a formatter, so this would automatically convert this to double quotes. And let's say name underscore 1 and name underscore 2, just for differentiation. Now there's another way that you can define a string. Let's say what I do is, let's say a paragraph. Let's say we have a variable name paragraph and we need to write something long. Let me just type some random stuff, and I press enter and type again something, then press enter, multi-line text. But as you see, this is showing some sort of error. So whenever your string is more than one line, what you actually need to do is, rather than using single double quotes, what you use is a triplet of quotes. So see, now this is working fine. So if you have a multi-line string, you start and end with triple quotes. But if you print this, then there won't be any issue, right? This is just a normal string. Also, if I just print my name again, name 1, let's say, this should print my name. And yeah, so you could try this with your own name as well. Now next thing is, let's look at float as well. So my float is, okay, so this is camel case, so let's say my underscore float is equal to 1234.5678. so any number which has fraction is a float, or a decimal number, or not a decimal number exactly, but a number with a decimal point. And what else can I show? Yeah, since I think you cannot complex number, right? So what I can do is I can write 1 plus 5j. So this is a complex number, right? And what is j? In general, complex numbers are denoted as a plus iota b in the standard form. Let's say z is equal to a plus iota b, where iota I, which is iota, is the square root square root of minus 1. Fine. If you are not working in something which requires a complex number, you don't actually need this. I never use this. And if for some reason you need this data type, you can always use classes and do it on your own. Now I think this is, yeah, let's look at boolean data, which is either true or false. See, what is happening here exactly is, first you create this variable with name boolean data and assign the value as true. Again, you use the same value and same variable and assign this to false. So the value of this is updated from true to false. So assignment is not exactly what I'm trying to show you, but this is how you declare it. One more thing is, okay, let's say you have an object and you don't know its data type, right? So let's just comment this out and this as well. Let's say name is equal to Senan. I'll just rewrite. Now I want to see the name, so this would print my name, right? But I want to see what is the data type, right? So what I can do is enclose this in a function known as type. So this is a function that takes a variable, or in this case this would be an object, right? So Python is an object oriented programming language, so this is not just a variable, it's an object which you are assigning some data. But you don't need to worry about this object oriented programming. We'll discuss it when the time comes, and you don't actually need to understand OOPS just for if you are a beginner, right? So if I do this, I print. So print is also a function that does something, right? We will also discuss functions at a later stage, but so you use type and name, and say, so what will happen is you will not see the name Senan as it was printed here, but you will see the type of this data. So if I run this, if I run this again, you will see class string, str is string. So basically, since this variable name is an object is an instance of some class. If you understand this is good, but anyways, what you need to focus is on this part, right? So this is the string. Let's say I do x is equal to 10, and I'll just comment this out. I explained what are comments in the very first video. So I say print x and print type of x, right? Let's print both of them. So if I run this, you see, if I print x, I get the value 10 back. But if I print the type of x, it is int. If I do 10 point and save this, so this automatically, my code formatter automatically puts this 0 after this decimal point. But if I run this, you see 10.0 is class float. Let's say I put a j in the end and I save this and I run this. 10j class is complex, right? Int, float, and complex. So in C or Java or C++, what you had to do is define the data type of this variable, right? But in Python, it is dynamically allocated, or the interpreter already knows by the context. By looking at this, it knows that x is a complex number. What else can I show you? Okay, so I showed you type, we did some revision. Now some basic maths, right? You use programming for some sort of computation, right? So I say print 10 plus 100. Obviously the output should be 110. Fine. If I do this, I say 10 plus a string. What do you think the answer would be? Let's check. Oh, sorry. So this throws an error that you cannot add a number and a string. right? So this plus is not supported. But what if I put double quotes on both of them, right? Let's see. What do you think will now happen? So okay, so this is not supported, so comment this out, save, and see, now you are not adding 10 and 100, you are adding some characters in a sequential order. So 10100, so 10100, don't consider this as a value 10, don't consider this as a value of 100, consider this as a sequence of two symbols which looks similar to 1 and 0. This is a sequence of three symbols which look like 1, 0 and 0. These do not in any way support or tell you the value of the quantity. Fine. Some basic maths. Let's say you can, what all you can do is, let's say 100 times 100, which is, let's comment this out and clear the terminal, and if I run this, 10,000. Fine. Now what if I do this? I'll just decrease this. Now what do you think the answer would be? Initially when adding it throws an error, right? But let's say if I multiply an integer with a string, what should be the answer? If you guessed that it will throw an error, you are wrong. Sorry for that. So what happens is, this star operator or the multiplication operator is defined for a number and a string. What this actually does is repeats this string and adds this string to itself 10 times. That is what multiplication is. It is repeated addition. So what this is doing, it is taking this and performing the addition operation 10 times. So you see, if you count these characters, you will see there are 10 ones and 20 zeros. So okay, this is good as well. What if I multiply two strings? What do you think the case would be? This throws an error, right? What possible definition can you define for multiplication of two strings? I don't think there is any. Maybe if you define some sort of operations, there could be a possibility, but there's nothing that you can do. Let's say you have, let's say x is equal to string of 100, right? And what you need to do is print the integer, right? You want to extract the number from this string, you want to convert this string to a number, right? I will discuss this in a later video also, known as typecasting. But let's say y is equal to int of 100, sorry, int of x. So what this is doing is, this is taking this 100 and trying to convert this into a string. If it is possible, then only this will run, otherwise it will throw an error. So let's see. Okay, so yeah, so 100 is printed because it is typecasting it or changing the type of that variable to a different type. But how do you know that this is y is actually an integer and not just another string? So that we can use the type function to check that. And if I run this, it's class int, right? And at the same time, what I do is, if say x, okay, and if I run this, you see x is class int, class string, and y is class int. So that was a bit of typecasting. We did string concatenation, we did string multiplication with a number, we did addition. What all things are there? Some boolean operations as well. Okay, so what I see is, or basically what, okay, okay, before that I want to consider something. Let's say you want to name something like age is equal to, let's say, 21. So you have a variable name age. So whose age we are talking about? Age of an elephant, age of a lion, or your age? So what I would do is, if I know whose age is this, I can write age underscore Senan. So I know when I read this variable, okay, so before that I'm not 21. Anyways, so if you see age underscore Senan, I know this is following the naming convention. Like, no, it does not start with a number, it has only alphanumeric characters and an underscore. So this is following the proper syntax for naming, and we are using the snake case, which is the convention. So I know this is a variable storing age of who? Sinan. It's storing my age. Otherwise, let's say I say height. Height of what? Right? Height is equal to, let's say, 100 meters. But what are we trying to define the height of? So height of, let's say, a rocket. Height of rocket. So I know this value is representing what? Height, and of whom? In this case, it is a rocket. Or other way, I can write rocket underscore height is equal to, let's say, 100. So okay, so that's not exactly an issue, but try to use names as descriptive as possible. So whenever you write code, think of it in terms of, if another developer, another programmer is looking at your code, he should not be worried about understanding your code, right? It should be easier to read your code. So the first and the foremost way is to write proper names of variables. Okay, so I can, let's say, if I say a is equal to 21, so how will you know that a is age of, or let's say a is my age? So a is not as descriptive as possible, or not descriptive at all. If you see in the above explanation, I used x and y. You can use when you're learning this, but when you are actually writing a big project, try to use as descriptive name as possible. Okay, before ending this video, I would like to convert some um, boolean thing. So print true. So true means something that is true, and false means something that is false. Anyways, if I print this, it will just print this same as it is. But if I try to do if I use the type function on this, you'll see the type is bool or boolean, right? And this, so the class is bool. So boolean is something that denotes the truthfulness, or basically true, row and false values. Okay, I won't be describing things that I don't actually know. Okay, so this is something that we are done, some basic maths. Okay, so again, you use, okay, so use star for multiplication, you use plus for addition, and you use minus for subtraction, you use division, this slash forward slash for division, you use 2 stars for exponentiation, and okay, so these all are defined on integer, floats, and complex numbers. And I think this is enough. If I talk about negating, say print not of false. So what does this mean? What is, if something is not false, what is it? So if you see, if something is not false, it is true, right? If something is not true, what is it? It's false, right? So this is something interesting. I hope so it is. And finally, I'll show you something to do on the console as well. I'll increase this, I'll clear the screen, and I want to run Python on the console. So when you are writing in a file, you can write multiple lines of code, and that would be executed when you press the run button, right? But if you just want to use this, let's say for some sort of calculator, you open your terminal or your console or your PowerShell, whatever it is, you write Python, press enter, you will see something, you'll see your Python version, you will see something else, I don't know, and you don't need this. So let's say I want what is the value of 1 plus 2, so it will return 3. So 118 times 32, this is 576. Let's say we did 10 times SENN, right? So this would repeat my name 10 times. And what is not true, it is false. What is not false, it is true. Print hello world, prints hello world, right? So if I type, this is something interesting. If I press this, and so if I write 100 in quotes, I would get back 100 in quotes. Type 100, I would get back 100. So in this you are able to see that this is string, this is a number or integer. So type of j, type of j is what? It should be complex. Okay, so at least you need to add one number with it. So that is how it will identify that this j is not a variable rather than iota, right? Now if you want to exit, you just type exit and brackets. So this is a function that would close this terminal, and press CLS or clear on your PowerShell console, whatever terminal, it would clear the screen. So yeah, that is it for this video. Hope you enjoyed this. Hopefully I would start some basic if else and else if conditions in the next video. I think, yeah, also after that I think we would discuss how to take input from the user rather than just hard coding everything. Okay, so that's all for this video. Hope you enjoyed this, and if you did, be sure to subscribe if you not have done it yet. And even if you don't want to subscribe, definitely share this video with someone who you think this video might be useful to. So yeah, thanks and